A 60-minute practice, starting with some grounding meditation, just to help us tune in and become present in our bodies. And then we'll get to moving, and yeah, I'm excited for this hip-focused class. If at any point you need to take a break, you can find a child's pose or any seated posture. If at any point you'd like to do something different or modify in a way that I haven't suggested, feel free to do that too. I will say that having 2 blocks is highly recommended for this class. If you don't have blocks, you could find books maybe, or just anything that can help bring the ground a little closer to your body. And if you don't have them, you'll make it work. Listen to your body. If you're feeling unstable, you can just modify, maybe not going as deep into a stretch or something, for example. So, with all that said, we're going to get started. And today for our grounding opening session or opening meditation, whatever you'd like to think of it as, is we're going to be doing that from a standing posture. So I know a lot of times we start on our backs, but today we're going to be standing. So, grab your props. If you have a blanket, that'll be nice to have 2 because we will be doing some stuff from our knees. So blanket, 2 blocks would be ideal. And as you're ready, you can find a nice spot somewhere on your mat. Doesn't really matter where. And really meeting yourself exactly where you are. And when we say that, it's a cue to come into your body. If you're someone who enjoys visualization, you could even visualize yourself approaching your physical body and kind of stepping into your physical body. For me, it's always just intuitive to pick up my feet one at a time, finding my connection to the earth and really feeling it beneath my feet. Testing my equilibrium here, kind of teetering. Maybe you go directly into a still posture, maybe you find some movement how I am. Kind of checking in with my knee joints, my ankles, giving my body a little bounce once I've firmly planted my feet. I like to have my feet at about hip distance, maybe even slightly wider to feel really stable through my feet. You can soften your gaze at any point, or maybe close down the eyes completely if that's comfortable for you. Again, noticing the little shifts in your body. Maybe you're slightly swaying. Maybe you're kind of rounding forward in the back. On your inhale, imagine your spine lengthening up from the tailbone to the crown of the head. So it's like you're just slightly unfurling the spine from that rounded position into a stacked straight line. With each inhale, see if you can create a little more space in the spine. Rolling the shoulders up, back, and down to invite a little more space in the front of the chest, the collarbone. Eventually turning your palms to face in front of you. Again, encouraging that openness through the chest, the collarbone, the heart space, the ribs. Notice if you're clenching the glutes, see if you can soften there and slightly direct your pelvis forward. Continuing with that visualization of a long stretched out spine, you're really aware that your head is over your shoulders are over the pelvis over the ankles. Keeping that softness in your joints, maybe even lift your toes, spread them and set them back down to reconnect to the earth if you've kind of gotten away from that sense of stability and grounding. Spread your fingers nice and wide. This is an active pose, but see if you can find that sweet spot between effort and ease. Using your exhales to invite that sense of ease while maintaining the integrity of your strong mountain pose. Feeling all of the strength and stability of a mountain. Maybe even visualizing diagonal lines coming out from your fingers, connecting you to the earth, so your body's making like a triangle shape. Really embodying that unwavering strength that a mountain represents. The mountain literally is. Soften your face while maintaining your nice strong mountain pose. We'll begin to invite ease with some intentional tension release. At any point you'd like to soften your arms, you can. As you inhale, find that length through the spine, fill the lungs. As you exhale, releasing tension, softening the shoulders, softening the face, sinking into the earth a little deeper. Inhale, visualize your breath moving up the nose, past the third eye, down the back of the throat, filling your heart. And as you exhale, feel all tension from the mind, leave the body out the skull, washing over shoulders, off the fingertips. Inhale through the nose, fill the heart with compassion and gratitude. Exhale, I deeply wish to release all negative psychic tension. The word psychic does not resonate. Maybe you swap it for mental. Inhale, fill the heart. Grow tall, create space. Exhale, release all mental tension. Inhaling and exhaling that mantra. I deeply wish to release all psychic tension. A few more like that. Time, you can shift the awareness of releasing tension from the mind to releasing any emotional tension. Inhaling, watching breath enter the body, fill the lungs, feel the gratitude, feel the love for yourself. Exhaling, I deeply wish to release all emotional tension. Allow your body to soften with those words. Do a few rounds like that, focusing on the emotional body. Inviting that release with your hands open, fingers spread wide. Inhale. Fill the heart. Exhale, release what you don't need. Release all emotional tension. Once more like that, focusing on the emotional body. Inhale, create the space. Exhale, embody the release. This last round would continue inhaling. This time I deeply wish to release all physical tension. So focusing on your physical body, your container, shell. Inhaling. Exhale, release all physical tension. Visualizing it releasing out the mind. Anywhere you're feeling it, see that release. Watch it exit the body. More like that, focusing on the physical. Allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm. Maybe feel the wave-like motion as you inhale, growing tall, and that wave-like sensation as you feel your breath exit. Allow the tension to exit. Twice more like that, focusing on the physical body. And after your next exhale, you can flick off the fingers, symbolically detaching from that stress, that tension. And you're welcome to continue with a soft gaze or closed eyes as we start to invite some movement in the body, moving around our energy, kind of stirring up any places where our chi might be stuck. So that can mean shaking out the hands, how I'm doing here. Maybe it's smaller movements, kind of looking left and right or up and down with the head. Allow yourself to just follow what your body's asking for. There's no right or wrong. You don't need me to instruct this part. This is your intuitive practice. So what feels good for you now. Eventually, I think it'd feel really nice to make these big circles with the body, softening through the knees, inhaling forward, exhaling, opening the arms. And kind of finding that bouncy movement, that fluidity in the joints. And going the other way. Maybe some cleansing breaths out an open mouth. Getting your blood flowing. Maybe some nice twists. Some really passive twists, letting your arms be heavy. You can tap out the kidneys with your loose fist. Maybe aim for like the armpits or like up high on your back. This can be just the upper body moving, or if you're wanting to get your hips involved, you can kind of swivel on the ball of each foot as you turn, deepening your twists, bringing out the body, massaging the organs. Already feeling the shift in energy, knowing that at any time you're feeling kind of stuck in an energetic space, you can invite movement. Mix things up, encourage that release, and really good job. Okay, you can slow it down, whatever you're working on. Maybe you pop the toes. Remove any layers if you got a little warm just now. Awesome. So from here, we're going to continue. I mentioned we're going to be focusing on hips, but just like every class, we're going to, touch on just about everything. So we're going to start by inhaling, reaching the arms overhead. Exhale, turn the palms down, flip the arms back towards your sides. Being mindful you're not curving too much in the low back, keeping your joints soft. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, flip the arms down. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, take the right wrist in your left hand, step back with the right foot, so you're crossing behind the left leg. Your legs are crossed. Both feet are planted on the ground here, pressing into both feet, finding a really deep side bend. If this is too deep, you don't have to step back with the right foot. You can keep your feet in line with one another. This is just a deeper version of a side bend, getting into the hip. So sending your hips forward, maintaining your breath, trying to see if you can keep your arms in line with your ears. Inhale, unwind. Maybe you try and hover with the right foot. And as you exhale, step the right foot in front of the left foot this time. So now your feet are right next to each other, all 10 toes facing the front. Inhale here. As you exhale, swan dive over your legs. So flat back, hinging at your hips, finding a forward fold with your legs crossed like this. So nice benefits of your average forward fold, Uttanasana. But now we're getting a deeper stretch for the back of the legs. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Maybe you find blocks under your hands. Maybe your hands are on your thighs or hips. Maybe on the shins. Maybe you wrap them around and grab your heels. Just allowing your torso to cascade over the legs. Staying with your breath if this is an especially high-pitched stretch for you. I know it's pretty intense for the back of my left leg. Keep your hips high. Think about stacking hips on top of ankles. And if that means shifting your weight into the balls of the feet, explore doing that. 3 more breaths here. Breathe through any discomfort, being very discerning about what's discomfort and what is pain. Always taking care if you're experiencing pain, coming out of a posture, being kind to yourself. Your next inhale, come up through a flat back. As you exhale, press into your feet, test your balance, come all the way up, uncross the foot, set it back next to the other one, grow tall, exhale, clear that all the way. Do that again on the other side. So we'll inhale, reach up high. As you exhale, hinge to the right this time, taking the left wrist into your right hand. Maybe you stay with your feet next to each other, or maybe you take a big step back into the right with your left foot. Pressing down through both feet, so you're really stable through the legs. Send your hips forward, reach back. Maybe visualize this nice crescent shape from your pinky down along the armpit, the front of the left hip, along the back of the leg, all the way to the sole of the foot. A few more rounds of breath here. Encourage that heart to open, your shoulder blades to squeeze together. On your next inhale, unwind. Step that leg out. Maybe you test your balance by hovering the left leg. Maybe you set it down. And then crossing left leg over right. Maybe you're wobbly, that's fine. It's called practice for a reason. It's supposed to be fun. Exhale, hinge over the legs, find your fold with this modified position of the legs. So left leg is crossed in front of right. Encourage that nice lift in your hips. So again, maybe you play around with sending your weight into the balls of the feet. Hugging your belly towards spine, allowing your upper body to hang heavy. Maybe even you nod your head, yes and no. Shake it. Find your breath if you've lost track of it. Bring your awareness to your breathing as you hold this pretty deep stretch for the legs. Maybe you're feeling it in other places too. Notice that. Avoid assigning judgment. 3 more breaths here. Inhale through a flat back. Exhale, press into your feet. Use your strong core to reach all the way up. Uncross the legs. And exhale, bring arms back by your sides. Lovely. Okay. Now, finding your blocks towards the front of your mat. We'll inhale, reaching up. Exhale, dive forward, leading with the heart. Hinge at the hips. Keep your legs nice and strong. Inhale to find your half lift. Maybe hands find blocks. Maybe they're at the shins. Think about lengthening through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, plant the hands, step back with the left foot. So keeping your knee lifted at first. Maybe you slide your blanket kind of halfway back on the mat to prepare for where we're going. So you can work with tented fingers, fists, or hands on blocks here. Your back knee is lifted. Press through the sole of the back foot, but be mindful that you're still stacking your heel over the ball of the foot. Press into your feet. Feel really strong here. And as you exhale, Gently tap the back knee down. Keep your foot tucked as you inhale. And as you exhale, you can untuck the foot, setting the top of the foot down, pressing into the top of the foot this time. Noticing how that activation between the top of the foot and your mat kind of ignites the muscles in the hip, the muscles in the glutes. When you're ready, we'll inhale, reaching arms overhead, finding Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Again, drawing your arms back towards your ears, maybe even behind the head. Sending your hips forward. So this is a nice deep version of the stretch where we're really focusing on this hip, the left hip, getting a nice stretch here. Still pressing into both feet. You can stay just like this. If you want to add in some shoulder movement, you can inhale, sweeping the arms back behind you, squeeze shoulder blades together, and exhale, bring arms overhead, then lower hands to heart. Finding that circular movement. Inhale, reaching back, scooping everything up. Exhale, hands to heart. 2 more like that. Inhale, reaching back. I took a class last night where she described that reaching back is kind of bringing all of the lessons and wisdom from your past with you to the foreground, to the present. Last one. We'll inhale, reaching up. Maybe you lift your back hip so it's over the back knee, growing a little taller in this posture. As you exhale, bring hands to frame the foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Big step back into a downward facing dog. Inhaling here. Exhale, hold the posture. Might feel good to pedal out the legs. Maybe comparing left and right. We'll inhale to lift the right foot. Exhale, big step forward. Maybe it's a few steps. Then bringing hands to the ground or on your blocks, we're going to kind of spring off that back leg. So if you want to kind of rock back and forward to feel that movement, you can. Inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, lift off, find your standing split. Hands can come to the mat. Maybe they come to the grounded leg. Exhale, bend the lifted leg. Set the left foot down in your forward fold. Maybe you kind of shake out the hips. Shake out the upper body. Then when you're ready, we'll inhale to find a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift all the way to standing. Exhale, hands at heart. Moving on to the other side. Check in for just a few breaths before you continue. Notice how your hips are feeling. As you're ready, we'll inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step back with the right foot this time. Keeping the knee lifted, finding your steady, strong foundation through the feet. And when you're ready, exhale, tap the back knee down. Keep it tucked, the toes tucked. Inhale. As you exhale, untuck the toes, press into the top of the foot. Maybe you find blocks under your hands and stay like this, sending the hips forward. Or maybe you reach the arms overhead, sending the right hip forward this time, reaching back through the arms. Option to stay like this. Or if you want to find that flow with the arms, you'll inhale, reaching back. Exhale, hands to heart. There's Davidia Turner, whose class I took last night, who imparted that little bit of wisdom about bringing that energetic invitation of scooping up the past, bringing it with you as you continue forward. Not dwelling on the past, but being informed by it. carrying the lessons with you. Once more like that. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Lift the back knee, tuck the toes, big step back to your down dog. Invite any movement. Maybe you take your feet as wide as the mat if you want to explore some different options. Notice how it feels in your hips. Be mindful you're still focusing on lifting your hips nice and high, rolling shoulders away from ears. And when you're ready, lifting up through the left foot, toes point down. Exhale, big step forward, maybe a few steps to get there. Hands can find the ground or your blocks. We'll do this little like teeter-totter thing a few times, rocking forward and back. And then when you're ready to take off, inhale to prepare. Exhale, ground into the left foot, lift the right foot off the mat. Maybe walk your hands in front of you slightly. Think about trying to keep both hips pointing down towards the ground, lifting the heel of the right foot nice and high. As you're ready on an exhale, bend the right knee, slowly set the right foot down to meet the left in your forward fold. You can heel toe the feet a little wide here for a wide leg forward fold. And maybe inviting some small movement, swaying side to side, or maybe stillness feels best. Find your breath. Maybe you've already begun to work with some Ujjayi pranayama, constricting the back of the throat as you inhale and exhale. Nice warming breath. If your feet are wider than hip distance, you can heel toe them back in line with your hips. Inhale to find your flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into your feet, lift all the way through standing. Spread the fingers. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay. Maybe pop your feet or roll out the ankles, roll out the wrists, check in. And then finding your blocks if you've got them, we're gonna step back just about halfway. So both feet are facing the front of the mat. Both feet are in their own lane. We'll inhale to reach up high here. As you exhale, reach forward with your hands, hinging at the hips so your back is flat. Then as you exhale, bring your hands to your blocks directly under your shoulders. So if you don't have blocks, maybe you're working on tented fingers or fists. It's just gonna be a deeper stretch if you don't have your blocks. And just to continue stretching the backs of the legs, oiling up the hips, we're going to start to do that teeter-totter movement just from a higher position to the ground. So just inhaling, lifting the heel of the back foot up, leaning forward with the body. As you exhale, seal the back heel down, roll onto the heel of the front foot. So I'll remove that front block just so you can see. Inhale, come onto the ball or toes of the back foot. Exhale, seal the back foot all the way down, and then lift onto the heel of the front foot, so your toes are pointing up. Inhale, shift forward, lift the back heel. Exhale, shift back, press down through the back heel, lift the front toes. A few more times. All right, next time the back heel is planted down, we'll inhale through your flat back, hands come to hips. As you exhale, press into your feet. You might feel your balance challenge there. As you exhale, step to the front. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, step back just about halfway on your mat, so not too wide of a stance here. Each foot is in its own lane. Your hips are facing forward. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, keep your arms in line with ears as you hinge forward, reach through your hands like there's something between your hands. You could even hold a block here. And as you exhale, fold over your legs. You're always welcome to stay longer in a stretch if it feels really good, or come out of it sooner if it's not working for you. When you're ready, we'll inhale to our flat back, shoulders are over wrists. Exhale, holding here, and then inviting that little swaying back and forth teeter-totter like momentum. So Inhaling, shifting forward, lifting back heel. Exhaling, grounding through the back heel, lifting the front toes. Try and give you a different angle. Inhale forward, exhale back. This as many times as you'd like. Maybe you notice one side is much tighter than the other. So maybe you spend twice as much time on that side. Maybe you return to the first side after a little while if that was the more challenging side, just to kind of work on addressing the imbalances present in our body. Okay. When you're ready, seal both feet down. Inhale, hands to hips. Exhale, press into your feet, lift all the way to standing. Inhale to prepare, and exhale, step to the top of your mat. Continuing, inhale, reaching arms overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then step back into a plank pose. Firing up the legs, pressing back through the soles of your feet, stacking heels over ankles, or over heels over balls of feet. Inhale here, press into your hands, back is broad. Exhale, lower the knees, untuck toes, lower all the way down, slowly bending at the elbows. Hands are under shoulders. Inhale, roll shoulders up towards the ears, then roll them down the back as you peel your chest off your mat. Keep your hands pretty soft here, so keep your weight out of your hands, press into the tops of the feet. On an exhale, roll down. Forehead lowers last. Inhale, tuck the toes. Press yourself up to a kneeling plank. And then as you exhale, lift the knees, find your downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Rolling shoulders away from ears, lifting the hips nice and high. 3 rounds of breath here. Spread your fingers, press into all of your knuckles. When you're ready, we'll inhale to lift through the right foot, toes point down. As you exhale, bend the knee. Hug it in towards your nose so your shoulders are over your wrists. And then very slowly and intentionally lower the right shin down onto your mat. Your back toes are tucked still. But as you're ready, you can flip onto the top of the foot, sending your hips down towards the mat. If you want to put a blanket under the back knee, you can. You can come onto fists here too. So this is what my teacher, Laura Frank, calls skinny pigeon. So you're really balancing on the right shin. Your right heel is kind of tucked in towards your glutes. Now there are variations where you try and balance here, but the point for right now of making the shape with our body is to get a big hip stretch. So thinking about the left hip, you can very slowly start to send your weight onto the left side of your body. So maybe that means just kind of leaning into that right hand, or that left hand, excuse me. You can even explore coming onto forearms. I find a deeper stretch from higher up. So if that's a lot on your wrists, you can make fists. So sending your weight onto the right leg, dipping the right hip forward. Eventually maybe try looking over, I'm sorry, was I saying right? The stretched out leg, the left leg is where you're feeling this. So dipping your weight into the left hip. Eventually you can look over the right shoulder. Maintaining your steady breathing. Inhale to unwind the gaze, look forward. And as you exhale, we're just gonna roll onto the right leg. So just roll onto your seat and stretch the left leg long. So a pretty easy transition there, just kind of allowing gravity to do the work of rolling onto your seat. Your left leg is stretched long, your right foot is on the inside of the left thigh. We'll inhale to sit up tall here. And as you exhale, fold over the front of your legs, so right down the middle. Keep the extended foot really active here. Press into the heel. Allow for a soft bend in your knee. Inhale, press into your hands, lift up into a flat back. As you exhale, crawl your hands to either the inside of the extended leg, or maybe you frame the extended leg with your hands. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold over the extended leg, or on the inside of the extended leg, whatever feels best. You're welcome to stay still here, feeling a really nice stretch for the back of the body. This gets at that spot that I was telling you about where I've been feeling some tightness in my back, so it feels really good. If you want to add some movement, on your inhales, you can bring your right hand to the back of your head, lifting elbow towards the sky, stacking shoulders, opening heart towards the bent knee. And then exhale, unwind, round through the back, bringing your torso parallel to the earth. So inhale to unwind, lengthen through the spine, lift up. Exhale, curl back forward, find heaviness in the face and torso. A couple more like that if you'd like, or maybe you're skipping it and holding the posture. Wherever you're working, we're taking 3 more rounds of breath here. As you're ready, you'll inhale to lift up through a flat back. Exhale, very intentionally walking your hands all the way to the front of your mat. So coming back into that skinny pigeon, rolling onto the left shin, or the right shin, excuse me, stretching left leg long. Top of the left foot is planting into the mat. Hands are under shoulders. And when you're ready, we'll tuck the left toes. Inhale, lift the back knee. Big step back with the right foot lifting all the way into your 3-legged dog. And from here, it might feel good to bend the knee and make some circles. Maybe you try stacking the hips, keeping your weight evenly distributed between your shoulders. If Wild Thing is in your practice, maybe you flip your dog, maybe not. Just inviting that openness through the right hip. Pressing into your hands, keeping a slight bend in the grounded leg. And as you're ready, you can unwind, squaring the hips back to the mat, setting the right foot down. We'll go directly to the other side. Inhaling, lifting the right foot, toes point down. Exhale, bend the knee, shift forward, bring knee towards nose, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, set the left shin down on the mat, untuck the back toes, finding this skinny pigeon. And as you're ready, starting to dip your weight into the right hip this time. So into the leg that's stretched long, that's where we're sending our weight. If it feels okay, you can try looking over the left shoulder. Notice if this hip feels different than the last one. Find your breath if this is really intense. Feel free to add in props if you need them. Even if you don't think you need them, maybe try it out and it'll be a different experience for you. Be curious in your practice. Have fun, try new things. A few more rounds of breath here. When you're ready, you'll bring the gaze back in front of you and then roll onto your seat, just how we did before, just kind of rolling back, stretching your right leg long this time. Left foot is on the inside of the right thigh. Inhale to grow tall, and as you exhale, fold down the center to start. Maybe you even decide to stay here. Keeping your right foot active, pressing into the heel, allowing a slight bend in the left knee. You can always slide a blanket under the knee if you know that you're prone to hyperextension in your joints. When you're ready, we'll inhale, finding a half lift, and exhale, crawl the hands either on the inside of the extended leg or to frame the extended leg, folding over. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. See if you can position your torso so it's parallel to the ground, and then exhale, fold again. Staying here. Breathing, noticing where you're experiencing the stretch, noticing where you're holding tension, where you don't have to be. Seeing if you can soften on your exhales. Maybe you add movement. Inhaling, bringing left hand to the back of the head, stacking shoulders, lifting elbow towards the sky. Exhale, unwinding the spine, torso frames the ground. Inhale through a flat back, unwind, open through the heart. Exhaling, rounding and folding. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Maybe you take a few more, maybe you hold the stretch. And when you're ready, just like before, we'll come out the way we came in. So inhale through a flat back. Exhale, walk your hands through the center, then all the way to face the front of your mat. Roll back onto the left shin. Square your body to the ground, tuck the back toes. Inhale through your three-legged dog, lifting the left foot nice and high. Maybe you roll the ankle, maybe you bend the knee and make circles. Maybe you try stacking the hips, maybe just holding here. This is a big challenge, especially if you're being aware of not dumping your weight into one hand more than the other. Maybe you flip. Wherever you're working, invite the openness into your hips specifically. And when you're ready, come out of whatever version you're working with by shifting your hips to be square to the mat. Lower the left leg to meet the right. Inhale here, and as you exhale, lower the knees. Lower seat towards heels, finding a child's pose. If you want to continue working with some hip opening, you can take your knees wide. Or maybe you've had a lot of hip opening already and you opt for knees together. Hands can be stretched nice and long here. Stretching out the armpits, the biceps. Allowing your head to relax towards the ground. If it's touching down on the ground, you can roll it left and right. If it's hovering, maybe you add a blanket or a block for stability, or maybe you let it hang. When you're ready, begin to shift forward onto a kneeling plank. Exhale, lower all the way to the belly. Stack one hand on top of the other underneath your forehead, and then bend the knees and windshield wipe the feet left and right. Breathing into your ribs, imagining like there's a balloon filling up on your inhales, expanding in all directions, and gently deflating as you exhale. One more breath like this, wiping the legs side to side, relaxing through the face and head. And on your exhale, you can lower your feet down, stretch both legs long. You can stay here, continuing to work with crocodile breath, sending your breath into the low ribs, visualizing that balloon filling up and deflating. If you'd like to invite another hip opening posture, you can, working with half frog. So forehead is relaxing onto your hands. You can begin to kind of start with like a tree pose on your belly by sliding your left foot on the inside of the right leg anywhere. Maybe you keep the foot connected to the extended leg, or maybe you let it come underneath the knee, finding more of that frog leg shape. You can bend your knee as much as you'd like. So the inside of your left leg is pressing onto the ground. The inside of your left foot is pressing onto the ground. Your face is relaxed, your upper body's relaxed. See if you can soften your glute. Just about 5 rounds of breath here. If you tend to kind of cramp in the glutes easily, maybe you skip this or you take the variation with your foot connected somewhere on the leg, like you're doing tree pose but on your belly. One more breath. That feels really good. You can stay longer. If you're ready to come out of it, just very slowly slide your leg back down, squaring your hips to the mat. So now your knees and the tops of your feet are pressing into your mat again. And when you're ready, we'll go to the other side. Inhaling, beginning to bend into the right knee so the inner thigh is pressing onto the ground. Maybe the sole of the foot finds the calf. Maybe you let your foot kind of extend, finding that frog leg shape, bending your knee and bringing it up towards the ribs, pressing into the inner part of your right leg, so the inner thigh instead of the knee. That might be a little uncomfortable on the knee bone. You can always slide a blanket underneath the leg that's making that frog shape, that little frog leg. 5 more rounds of breath here. When you're ready on an exhale, you can very slowly stretch the right leg back long, squaring the hips, pressing into the tops of the feet. When you're ready, we'll inhale, bringing hands under shoulders, tucking toes, press yourself up through a kneeling plank, and then sit back, cross at the ankles, walk your hands in towards you. So now you're on your seat. You can stretch your legs, uncross your legs in front of you, keep your feet on the mat, and then lower onto your forearms. Lifting the legs, I like to kind of cross at my ankles, and then start exploring here, sending your weight onto one side, massaging the glutes, finding any deep spots that feel really good, allowing your weight to go there. Maybe there's a really obvious spot that feels really good here and you just hold it, or maybe you just sort of make circles and rock side to side. You can always come up onto the hands if you'd like to explore that from a higher relationship to the ground. A lot of times the deep hip opening work tends to, for me anyway, kind of cramp up the glutes, or I find myself accidentally holding tension in the glutes. So this is a nice way to kind of bring your awareness there. Give yourself a nice little massage. Whenever you feel like you're ready to continue past this little moment of self-love, you can set your feet back down and very slowly roll onto your back, finding one of your blocks as you go. Once you arrive on your back, you're welcome to wipe the knees right and left. Maybe take a full body stretch if it feels good. Finish off with just a couple more deep stretches before finding your final resting posture. So eventually lifting the knees, setting both feet down, legs are hip distance. If you have a block, you'll inhale to lift the hips and slide your block underneath the sacrum. So just above your tailbone, it's that flat kind of shelf-like bone that makes up the back of your pelvis. You're welcome to stay just like this if a supported bridge is feeling really good in your body and you're wanting a more passive last few moments here before Shavasana. If you want to get one more deep hip stretch in, you can begin to heel toe the right foot so it's sitting underneath the left leg. So you're resting on the outside of the right foot, your right knee is lowered towards the ground. Shift so you can maybe have a better visual here. So you're really just allowing the right hip to open. Gravity's doing most of the work here.
You could stay just like this, or maybe you lift the left knee in towards your body and take it in one or both of your hands. If this is feeling so intense that it's bordering on painful, or it's just really not accessible at all in your body, that's very normal. This is a pretty high-pitched stretch. I've been doing it a lot recently, and at first it was a lot. But over the last few days, since I've been doing it a lot, I can feel it becoming more comfortable. But an alternative is doing this without the block. So without the elevation in the hips, you would do the same thing. Tuck the foot under the opposite leg. Keep the left leg or the left foot planted down or lifted up. So you can do this with or without a block. Your next exhale, lower the left leg if it was lifted. Slowly untuck the right foot out from beneath you. Pause for a breath. And then when you're ready, explore the other side with or without your block. So just tucking your left foot underneath the right thigh this time. It's kind of aiming your heel towards the block or towards your butt. On an exhale, allow the left hip to open. Allow gravity to anchor the left knee towards the earth. Mine always hovers here, so it's not about, there's no goal of trying to get your knee to touch the ground or really make any specific shape. Remember, effort is the goal. If you're trying, if you're inviting these shapes, if you're feeling how they feel, if you're building awareness, then you're doing it. If you want to lift off through the right foot, you can. Maybe you don't need to. Just a few more rounds of breath here. On an exhale, lower the right foot if it was lifted. Untuck the left leg, set the left foot down, return to your supported bridge. You're welcome to go directly to Shavasana. Maybe you stay in your supported bridge and heel toe your feet as wide as the mat, allowing your knees to lower towards one another. Hands can relax by your sides. Maybe you remove the block and take a similar position with your legs. Or maybe you stretch your legs long. If there are any final postures you'd like to take before your Shavasana, you're welcome to take them now. A twist maybe a figure four or reclined pigeon could be good if you're still feeling some tightness in the glutes or in the low back. Eventually making your way into your final resting posture. We'll be in our Shavasana for about 3 minutes, so if you're craving a longer rest, intentional rest, Shavasana, you're welcome to continue once this video is ended. You could even pause now and stay in it for as long as you'd like and return to close with me. So eventually finding stillness after taking any final movements you'd like. Softening the gaze or finding closed eyes. Inhaling, visualizing a wave washing over your body as it comes onto a shore. Getting all the way past the crown of the head before exhaling, washing back into the ocean. Inhaling. Exhaling. Allowing softness to fully envelop you. Sinking deeper into the earth with your exhales, deeper into relaxation,
deeper into releasing any tension. As you're ready, you can begin to invite awareness and sensation back into your body, using your breath to encourage that reawakening, deepening it. Sighing it out if that feels good, maybe stretching through arms and legs. Eventually rolling off to one side, curling up if that sounds good. If you're wanting to feel that sensation of being held by the earth, tuck your knees in towards chest, get small. And in your own time, not rushing at all here, you'll eventually press yourself up into any comfortable seated posture, adding in props as needed. Blanket under the hips, maybe. Find gratitude for this practice, for all of the teachers over the years, for the lineage dating back to Egypt and Egypt and India. Thanking all of those who've practiced, preserved, and shared this tradition with us. Bring hands to heart center, thumbs at sternum. Maybe find gratitude for your ancestors or anyone or anything in your life right now. Gratitude for your breath. Before we close, take time to acknowledge the First Nations people for wherever it is you're practicing today. For me, that would be the Kanza, the Osage, and the Shawnee First Nations people, the original inhabitants and protectors of our land, of their land, this land that we're all occupying. Inhale, reach overhead. Exhale, lower hands to heart again, chin to chest, bow to yourself. Thank you so much for allowing me to practice alongside you this morning. May there be peace in your mind, peace in your body, and peace in your heart. Thank you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Bye, everyone. Thank you.